Some changes to the program, some last-minute changes. About around 12:30 or 10:30, Ubisund short is being shown in the salon. At 12 o'clock, there was a missing entry. Wolfgang is going to tell about how he made the 3D version of Elephant's Dream in the salon. At the same time, in the small theater, Andrew Price, Jonathan Williams, and Jean Sebastian Guillemot, or what I don't know his last name, but Jean Sebastian, are going to have a speed modeling competition in the small theater for about 30 minutes. Then the Blender Network roundtable discussion session that was planned for 12:30 in the salon. It will be at the same time, but in the small theater. Because at that time in the salon, 12:30, Andy and David will be giving some show about, I think, modeling and painting, but who knows. I think those were the changes. And then now is Pablo going to tell about lighting and composition in Sintel. So enjoy.
Hey. Huh? Yep, wanna say something?
Yeah. And officially he was going to do it with Sunke, but Sunke had to go home, sadly. He was here yesterday, so you could see him in the salon. So I'm going to be his lovely assistant. And we'll basically, he's going to show lots of stuff, but we'll take it as an opportunity for all of you to ask lots of questions. Also, just about the entire Sintel project. Feel free to just raise your hand and say, hello, I want to know something. Or if you want to see a specific file from the Sintel movie, just ask us and we can improvise a little bit. And I think Pablo has some images he wants to show to start. Ooh.
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 Nice. The mouse falls. Here. Hey, morning, everyone. Sorry for being so early. I mean, for you. Sorry for me. Yeah, we're going to talk about Sintel, about compositing a little bit, but I want you to ask stuff. I mean, the DVD is for that. It explains some of the compositing and everything, and you can see the length files and you can check everything. So please stop me every moment to ask everything. Well, not everything, but almost. So what I'm going to show now, well, actually that computer is rendering at the moment. You can turn around.
Ooh.
Yeah. A lot of red stuff. Because I'm going to show some already rendered stuff on my laptop, and then we're going to somehow switch to that computer. Now that's a render. That's
and
a
the red stuff is the new global illumination stuff. That's
yes.
Render branch. It's stuff that Brecht put in.
Yes, that's the Radiant cache.
Yeah.
That's doing all kind of really weird stuff, like bouncing lights and
magic.
Yeah, magic. But it's really fast, and it's awesome. We're using it. It's a ray trace global illumination.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, because if you go into Trunk right now, you can do global illumination only approximate, but in Render Branch you can do it only with ray tracing. So we're hoping Brecht can find some time to put it all in Trunk somehow, right?
Yeah, exactly. So first, I'm going to show some of the stuff. You already seen the movie, I hope. So no spoiler. No spoiler alert. So edit. So first, I have one quick. Well, it's okay. Yeah. I can show the little video here.
And of course you can recognize the shots he worked on because they're all a bit pinker than the rest of the movie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I like pink.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, and actually this is all bright, too bright. This is how it's supposed to look, but I've been lazy. So, the steps we've been through. are you already like familiar with how? Did you post? Did we post about the process of like all the pipeline we had for workflow, for example?
No, not really, but I think Campbell did do a post with the bamboo scene to show, so people can test our files on their own computers.
Yes,
that was way
that's
back
it.
when.
So you probably have noticed a lot of really weird stuff, sorry. But this is one of the, it's not the latest version, but it's well, I don't know if you have noticed in that one, but it's fun. That image has been around everywhere, like was one of the first renders we had and we were showing. And actually Sintel is not even like touching the guy. He doesn't have the wound to.
And the
the
baby's belly.
Well, that's even in the back of the DVD that we showed. Yeah, we couldn't get rid of that one. But it's pretty fun. That was after we got nicely kicked by the community to trick the hair, because the hair was horrible in the trailer. It was really flat. So one of the things you can see there is that we have now like some sort of shadows there. Before it was completely flat. We had to make I don't know, I'm actually starting to talk about something else, but it's a quick thing. We have to duplicate the hair because we only had one ray trace hair. And if you were not using ray trace light, you wouldn't get any shadows. So we made a duplicate. Sumka has been like, I think it was on the there was a blog post about the shaman hat, and everybody was talking about it, like, hey, the hair is flat, it's flat, flat, flat. So I came in on Monday.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, the next Monday. It seems he's been working on the weekend because suddenly we had this awesome looking hair, much better than before.
Yeah, it was kind of strange because in the lighting team, I think Ben and me worked pretty much normal office hours, sort of, arrive in the morning, work all day, go home at night. And Sunke would start somewhere late in the day and work all night and then fall asleep on his keyboard and keep working.
Yeah.
And you had a habit in the end to just turn up at like 5 in the morning or something, right?
Well,
because the office was quiet and you could work.
And you get the farm for yourself.
Exactly.
So you go early in the morning,
Yeah.
it's all quiet. Back again, this is one of the working products. This is how it looks at the end. But the process is actually a bit more complicated than that. What animators get on the first tape is the layout. This is made by Colin. So Colin say, okay, I want it to be a cabin. I want to have these sort of cameras. It already changed a little bit on this camera is not anymore there. It's now a bit more far from the characters. So this is basically what the animators get. But it's also nice to share it. I mean, it's not, once I work in a project that the director will only show this kind of stuff to the animators. And I was a lighting guy, so I was like, sneaking in. And he would say, no, go work. Don't look at this stuff. It's still really rough on it. But I want to know what I'm going to light. I want to know what I'm going to do the textures about. I mean, I want to know at least the point of view. So I can think like, okay, I have to make a mat. I have to make this wooden thingy. You don't really see a lot of detail from here, but it really helps. So I think it's a nice thing to be involved. The whole team, animators, lighting, even lighting guys here, texturing guys here, modeling, all of the whole team, right? When possible, of course. If you have like Pixar, 1,000 people, you're not always in one computer showing, hey.
And this was really different between Sintel as well with Big Buck Bunny, because Big Buck Bunny, basically, they did a storyboard at the start, and they stayed with the storyboard during the entire process. So pretty much, if you look at the original storyboard and you look at the movie, it's pretty identical. But for Sintel, we didn't get that. And there's a lot of tricks they did that we couldn't do, because Colin loves moving cameras. So, in Big Buck Bunny, they could do a matte painting and just use the matte painting as the background. But we have moving cameras in everything. So everything has to be modeled. Everything has to be made in 3D as well. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. So once this is done by the director, it is pretty much done. There was only a little change in the camera here, but it's a good thing to try to keep the director happy and ask him nicely, like, would you please not move this camera that much, because I'm already getting used to it and I'm already thinking about ideas, how to do the lighting and everything. And also this other project I worked on, the director not only liked to move cameras, but also like completely move cameras and change the background and change everything, and or you will model this for this point of view. You will have like a nice, awesome texture for the wood here, and then I don't like that. I'm gonna move it a little bit. What? I didn't texture that side of the wood, so it would look horrible, and if really horrible or all stretched. And it's like if you're looking from there and you texture this side, it's awesome. But then the director said, yeah, I want it like maybe this side, like a profile view. That I didn't model that. I didn't texture that. I didn't. So it doesn't feel right, and it's a really loss of time.
Any questions yet?
Yeah, please.
Feel free.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just pass this on.
Did you really model everything? There's no matte painting?
Most of it. The producer had this crazy idea about, hey, what if we do 3D? No, don't do much matte painting. So,
Okay.
I think the biggest one with the matte paintings was the city, right?
yeah.
Because
no, the
basically
city-
Jean-Sébastien he was only there for a short time, and he made a really rough cityscape in the background when she's running up the tower and everything. And he made a render and then sent it to David, who, you know, if you've seen him in the last couple of days, he's freaking awesome. And then he went and he made a huge, huge painting of the city just on top, the way that he did during his demo yesterday as well. So rough painting with a bit of light. And he made a painting that was 12K, so 12,000 pixels by something else, which was a bit ridiculous. And then Campbell made us a beautiful modifier, which is, it modifies the UV layout according to the camera. So you can project your matte painting back onto all your meshes. And we used that to project it back, and then we baked it onto the meshes, and that's basically the city. So Jean-Sébastien made a somewhat detailed city. We had a painting from it. Then I made a really undetailed city. Basically, the city is all blocks and roofs. It's just cubes. And we have a projected painting back on top of it. And I think that's the biggest one, in the skies. You know, and also at the end of the movie, when she's sitting next to the tree and all that stuff, there's mountains in the background. And I think at the last shot, we have a foreground that's modeled. Then we have a few mountains that we can play with mist and distance and all that stuff, low poly in the background. And then there's a painting that was made by Ben, because Ben is also a really awesome matte painter. It's just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the snow fight, there's one
Yeah.
shot that is actually pure matte painting.
The shaman hut.
The
right?
shaman had in the
Yeah.
distance. And now I'm loading the DVD. You're going to see the DVD. You already got the DVD, any of you?
Ooh.
Wow. Like, actually got it? Or? Wow, nice. You got to look at it? No? Not yet? Okay, it's cool. You should. I worked many weeks on it.
Yeah, we had real fun 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago. Or was it last weekend?
This is a
Wrapping
DVD.
all the
Woo. For those who haven't seen it yet. So
Which one is this? Because there's 4.
this is the extras DVD. The only one that is actually browsable with a I made the layout for the browser, so you can check tutorials, film, and goodies. So this is not. This probably sounds like an advertisement, but it's a really. I'm really ashamed I don't have the film in my computer, so I had to make had to go to DVD. So, but yeah, this is some of the tutorials we're giving on the DVDs. Angela was like insane doing all these kind of tutorials. It's awesome, really, topology-wise. Then Ben, Bjorn, Campbell, Colin did all these little between 2 and 5 minutes videos of tips. It's really, really nice. And animation also, sculpting. Film. I want to get the film. Oh, goodies. This is awesome. Force Split, Sintel Graphics, logo, the David's gallery, the weeklies, gallery with some crazy.
Click on that one.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
weeklies were
really
fun
quick.
because we did that every
it-
Friday night. We sat down and showed our progress, also with guests at the studio. And everybody had a folder that you had to show your progress over the week, but people put...
This is an actual gallery like from David, so this is the proper one. And then we have the weeklies gallery, which is like all kind of the weirdest
That's Ben, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's also Ben. But
Show the naked shaman.
it's not naked.
Yeah.
It was so fun. We have so much. I like the Falcon punch. Ew, creepy. A baguette? It looks like a baguette, right? Render layers are their issue anyway. Yay! Disco Dragon.
Well, don't show them all because they won't buy
Yeah.
the DVD. All right?
Sorry. I love this one. The shaman. Okay, last one, I swear. Okay. Back to work. No fun. Movie?
But Pablo, did you learn anything from like Sunko or Ben in tricks?
Of course not. Yeah, I learned so many little things, especially like all kind of ordering stuff. Kind of the compositing tricks they use is completely different. If you check any, after like looking at maybe 10 blend files, you can tell who made what.
Yeah.
Like Ben used a lot of math notes, which I tried to understand. Before
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
did
use
everything with math. Somehow, instead of using mix or alpha over or that stuff, he used math nodes, and we didn't understand it, but it worked. So. And he had a tendency to put viewer nodes on everything. So you open his files, and there's like 500 nodes, and you're completely confused.
Yeah.
And then you start deleting the viewer nodes, and at the end, you're like, "All right, it's not that complicated." And Sunke is incredibly ordered. So if you open his stuff, it's all in groups and really neat, and also really nicely aligned. You know, so it's very nice. If you look at mine, there's like 3 nodes, and that's it.
Mine is 3 nodes here. It's a mess, really like spaghetti of nodes. But well, back to the topic. It was a bit slow to show the actual movie, but it's going to help. But yeah,
The snow was made by Ben, the only member of the team from Australia who had never seen snow.
Yeah. So this was one of the shots that was matte painted, almost pretty much everything except this little part here. But along others. So good to keep the movie around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come up there.
Oh.
Hi, it's quite obvious that the shaman house, this shot, you can clearly see that's a matte painting. So was that a decision based on time constraints? But it's quite a lot of people on the blog complain about it. It's very visible that it's not a 3D model.
Yeah, that was half and half, a decision and half something we didn't. I mean, we needed to do this shot. We didn't know really how to approach it. Right? It was static. We said at the beginning of the project we said like, okay, we have to use matte painting because they use it everywhere and well, fancy.
Oh.
And we have to use matte painting because everybody does it. And there, it's back. And it really saves you a lot of time. But it's this is the first shot. Like, okay, let's use matte painting, but it didn't. It wasn't maybe the best example. So I also think it looks a bit weak as not a lot of depth. And some also the smoke seam on top, it doesn't work.
And in this shot, you have these streaks below. This looks like a camera streaks simulation thing, and it's the only shot in the whole movie that has this camera streak.
I also
stuff.
wonder that.
What is that?
Sunka made this effect, which is it's nice. I think it really adds to the shot. But in the 4K version, it's not there. There was an issue with Blender with the fast Gaussian filter in high resolutions. I think Campbell fixed it. Well, he put a patch that it was on the tracker, so now it's fixed. But I had to remove it. But
so it was more like an experiment for.
Something like that. Some guys, he left. but Sunka said it's something like, yeah, the strikes you have when you're like looking at the distance with the, you know.
All right.
Some games are using that now. The little effect that, like when you look to the lights, you see all these streaks, or maybe it's just me, my eyes are broken. But yeah, this is it was an experiment. It's not anywhere else in the movie. I love that shaman, don't you? One of the biggest issues we had in Sintel was a hair seam, so we had to cut the yeah.
Yeah, and I think he didn't have any hair at the back of his head either. But you don't see it in the shot, so we just left it out. It was fine.
So we were looking at the Sintel cabin layout.
It was fun. We used a bunch of stuff from the community as well. So even in this shot, there's a candle standing somewhere that was made by, was it Lumpy Cow?
Yeah.
I think. You made a candle and there's stuff everywhere. And we tried to use as much as we could from the community, but it was really hard. Because, you know, you have to find a spot for everything. And it was tricky because we had to keep track of that stuff as well. So everything everybody submitted, you have to download it, put it in the right folder, keep a list of names, and not everybody gives their real name. Some people use their nicknames only. You have to decide what to put in the credits. And Ton was all, no, we only use real names. But we didn't have them, and we didn't have email addresses because they were using, what was it called, the website? BlendSwap. Yeah, we used BlendSwap a lot.
Awesome.
And we can't find the real name of people on there. So, or their email address.
So, back again, we had the first really well, you have the storyboard, and you have the first layout was really blocky. And then this is what I got from, then after, again, yeah, it's a bit loose.
Argentinian laptop.
Yeah, we made it. So then it's handed to the animators, right, to get the high-res guys, Sintel and the baby dragon, and then try to do the animation, talk with Colin, get the audio, try to define a camera, and this is what is handed to the lighting guys. So, well, I mean, maybe actually in a more, in a bigger team, you will hand this to the modelers, and then to the lighting, and then to compositing.
Texturing.
Yeah, that step also. So, but this is, it's a small team, so this was basically like, okay, this is the scene, the cabin, and do it. So this is what I first got. Then I started to model all the little objects. And that.
Here. Greed on her face.
Why does Sintel have a greed on her face in this scene?
Sorry, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, on one of the versions. You see? I don't know.
Which one?
I think.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah, that's a collision mesh for the hair. Yeah, it was a collision mesh we had
just to keep the hair
like
from intersecting.
Yeah.
That was because you really don't want to do intersections on a high poly mesh. It just takes far too long. So every mesh you make a low poly version just to keep from intersections.
Yeah.
And we had some trouble with this stuff as well because we want to do. You really want to optimize everything, right? So you only model what you see. Like under her T-shirt, there's nothing. There's a big gaping hole. And we had stuff with someone will go and model it, I'm sure, You
perverts.
Yeah. But there's shots in the winter scenes as well where she has a big coat. And it was always really tricky because you have a mesh under the coat and you do deformations and then suddenly you see her shoulder sticking through the coat. So we made a special group of Sintel because we use groups to link everything in. And it didn't have her shirt or anything. So basically there's a head with a neck, but underneath the neck there's nothing. There's just a big coat on top. And in a couple of shots, if you pay attention, you can see it. So there's the ending of the neck under the coat and there's a big hole there somewhere.
Yeah. So, any questions so far? I'm now just playing around one of the...
Can you show Campbell's beautiful scatter script thing that you used to make all the noisy stuff? That was awesome. For all the little...
No.
This stuff. It doesn't work here probably, right?
No, it's not... we use I don't know if it's really handy, but sometimes it has this. We are keeping everything on the server, right, in the Blender Institute. So now we brought this computer, and we had to get Blender somehow, because Blender is run from all the sources and everything from the not the sources, but all the libraries are getting from the server. So that way we have all the same libraries, sort of. And it happened once. We were like each computer had a different OpenEXR library, so that wasn't really fun. At the end, we got really different results. So now we're keeping all the libraries in the server. And when we brought the computer, it didn't have our nice Blender with all the scripts and everything. So I can show that script.
Okay.
But he has to make it an add-on, because that script is awesome. It lets you do stuff like that, like all these little objects there. I spent 2 months adding in each one by one. And really, there's a great script made by Campbell that you just paint. You make a group with the little pieces of objects you want to add, like that little shape there, really low poly, and then you paint around the sort like a. Oh, this is a good thing actually to explain the script, so he understands how awesome it is and get it sit on trunk.
Yeah.
Because you just paint around like with a grace pencil. You paint in the corners and around, and depending on how much you paint, it's going to add much more. The quantity of objects is going to add.
It just makes a big mesh with triangles and dupli group thing.
Is that similar to the particle instances, or how is it different? You know how you can paint with hair particles for the group objects? Is it different to that, or like a? Yeah,
hair particles. You can't. I mean, it's not actual geometry there. You have to apply the modifier, and it's not really. I don't know if it can handle many different groups of stuff. But this one we could back then.
Oh, okay.
And it was much faster, and also it's just a matter of painting. You don't have to create a particle system and like a dupli group. No, duplis, and then
right. Okay.
Yeah. So that was one of the great things. So I didn't model all this like it's just in a row, of course, just like in one day. But it took me a week to model the first part. Then I put it on the blog, got really nice feedback. Then this is the first shot where I tried the global illumination, which is really, really nice. You will see a lot of geometry here that doesn't make a lot of sense, like that. Or even worse, that plane over there. I don't know if you could see that. That plane. I don't know if I can access. No, it's on the library. So this is, you can see, it's all one empty. Nice. How can that be an empty? It's actual geometry. That's coming from another blend file, which is Sintel cabin.blend, and it's not a sequencer. There. Let's see if I can.
That was really tricky to manage these assets properly. So you have a scene file that has the entire cabin in it, but then for every shot with the cabin, you need different pieces of the cabin, right? Because something might be blocking the camera, or something might not be visible, and if it's not visible, you don't want it in the file at all. So we ended up making, Pablo wanted to do everything local originally, which was, Tom didn't like it. So we made groups for everything. So basically we have one file with all of the geometry in it, but we have multiple groups that they belong to. So you can go to a specific shot and say, I want Sintel cabin shot 1, and you only get the stuff that you need for that shot.
So basically, where is this guy? Oh, sir. It's just the drawing options.
What are you looking for?
Huh? Oh, just to show. There. Solid. Did you know that if you hold Alt Alt and scroll, you can change the setting without clicking. Ooh. You can change the options there with Alt and scrolling. And if you do it over a color picker, you can change the brightness. Awesome. So, okay, sorry. So I was talking about the